All right, guys. Good morning. It's Melissa here. Different scenery from my bedroom. Just getting going on my day, tasking what I will be doing. So, I am starting also another class that I will be sharing stuff on here about relationships. So, this is a class that starts off with connections, how important it is to be connected to, if you are married, your husband. So, a lot of times as women, and I want to always kind of put a lot into my videos, I want to pack them with a lot of good stuff, is abortion. Okay. Abortion can make it very difficult for a woman to be vulnerable because she has to protect herself. And I talk about my abortion, and we are in a society right now where, abortion's wrong, definitely, no question about it. But we have two camps, okay? We have the side that says, oh, abortion's awful and it's very judgmental. Then we have the side that says abortion's okay. And that is obviously wrong. And so we need a bigger conversation, a middle ground to abortion. So I had a person recently say to me, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear what happened because we had gotten on the subject of abortion. And, it's nice when people say I'm sorry, but for when someone enters that with you and they're like, what happened? And you're like, well, this is kind of what happened. And they're like, oh my goodness, there was no communication there. And I'm like, exactly, the communication wasn't there. And they're like, yeah, I didn't have the communication either growing up. So this is very common in the generation that I grew up. The communication, just people did not talk about sex, they didn't talk about stuff. So that's a big part of it. Now we have Marco Rubio, who has just been sworn in. He claims, and I'm excited about this, that Jesus Christ is his Lord. Now, as I talk about abortion, the biggest thing when you take your last breath is that you know Christ. So abortion is not the scarlet sin. Denying Christ is, okay? Denying what God has done for you by sending Jesus Christ to die for your sins, and blasphemy against, the Holy Spirit is the sin that is unforgivable. Okay? I mean, some people might worry about that and unknowingly be like, "Did I ever do that?" Usually if you're worried about it, you haven't done it. But anyways, so when I talk about abortion, it's not the all out sin. It is murder, but what degree it is depends on, what you knew and what you didn't know. So when we talk about abortion, there is a whole population right now that is doesn't have a voice. And I'm not just talking about the baby who doesn't have a voice, but there are a ton of mothers who have not had a voice. Not only have we not talked about abortion, but when we talk about it, we talk about it in terms where women cannot freely come out, as I have, and said, yes, I had an abortion. Mine was unconsent. I mean, the one I blame more than anybody is the doctor, really, because the doctor, is more educated. He knows what's going on, but still, there is responsibility on all sides, but the doctor is the one who pulled the trigger, so to say. So when we talk about abortion, I'm going to be talking about all aspects about abortion here on my channel and helping women to heal from this because usually they haven't had time to heal or they haven't had the tools to heal. So, your biggest number one tool is that God forgives you, okay? Right from the get go, God forgives you. And with that, that God forgives sin from the east to the west, it gives you something to hold on to. It gives you some kind of hope that it is forgiven for those who are sorry, not the ones who are in denial, who are like, well, there's nothing wrong with abortion. I would choose abortion again. You're living in your sin. Okay, so that is a post traumatic stress symptom, that denial. You want to be able to come to God with it. And really, the only one you truly have offended is God. Okay, and God is the one who forgives. So, so then you want to go through and you want to heal with the truth of what happened and have other women, mentor you through this or mother you through it. And then you want to be able to heal other aspects of your life. So for me, I was thinking the other day, okay, Melissa, your walls went up a couple times. Your boyfriend was crying because you were trying to break up with him. Your walls went up there. Your walls went up when the condom broke. Your walls went up when you were shamed. Your walls went up to survive the abortion. Your walls went up when you were dropped off to walk on the way home. And I remember not slamming the door hard, but kind of slamming that door and being like that car door and being like, never again am I going to trust anybody. And that is very difficult sometimes, especially when you're in a relationship with a marriage, to when someone has hurt you, to be emotionally vulnerable. But I mean, I had already just kind of stuffed it, and it wasn't a wall like a fortress, but it was like, okay, this is not going to happen again, that boundary. So when you're in a relationship with a man, ladies, after you've had an abortion, hopefully you've dated enough, as my husband and I did, that there's some kind of bond again, some kind of trust, some kind of, bridge from what you just went through. So, where my boyfriend at the time wasn't involved and he really didn't have much of a say, anyways, even if he wanted to keep the baby. Um, but they didn't. They wanted it hidden because his dad was a fireman, a fire chief, actually, in Pittsfield, New Hampshire. So, Randy VN did not, and his mother did not want this out. So, so then you go, you're kind of dealing with this ladies, whatever it is, drugs, whatever. I didn't do that. Didn't really do that. Did go to alcohol at one point, just like a one time like party thing. And then I had dated my husband. We broke up. He broke up with me, and then he broke up with me again, which my trust was shattered again. And then we worked it out, and we had there was some kind of sort of rescue for me there. That yeah, I'm kind of finally settling in after like 5 or 6 years of my teen years that were a total mess. And that gave me stability. So you want to have something where you can emotionally connect, whether it's just a man, who listens to you as you talk, or, you know, um, you can talk to him, you can open up and say, this is what happened with the abortion. My husband was my friend first, so he was the first one I told about the abortion, the very first one I ever told. And so you want to have some kind of connection there. And as it's scary to be vulnerable, ladies, because you were already open and you were already vulnerable and you had sex with that first boyfriend, and usually it's in a relationship, and usually there's trust, especially for a first boyfriend. And then when that just gets, blown away, and I've been listening to Carrie Underwood with Blown Away, and that's exactly what we want to do. When things just fall apart, we want to go back into there. And people say, oh, you don't want to live in your past. Well, no, you don't want to live in your past, but you've got to go back and you've got to kind of be like, okay, what happened surrounding the abortion? What were the patterns? What were the decision making things? And you need to heal up and you need to be open again and be vulnerable in a relationship. So, that's something that I have learned to do, to open up again. And that can be very difficult for women who have had abortion. So we want to help not only those who don't have a voice, babies and mothers who usually don't have a voice, or they've been tricked, or they've been lied to. We want to help them heal. And then in my business, I will be having a million resources basically to help women be at their best, whether it's me partnering with, there's a lady I need to contact today and partner with her. But I already volunteer and have a lot of resources at my hands with the place I volunteer with finding resources to help mothers keep their babies. but I want to find more resources and put together a resource hub of everything you can imagine for women, for moms, all the way up until their children are grown, until they're adults to help them. So that's what I'm looking to do, from the bottom all the way to the top. And now that we have good leadership, I just feel like it's Christmas for me. I'm watching, I've been glued to the TV and I'm like, this is awesome. All this good leadership in the White House. I think life is going to get easier now for women. I think there's going to be more support for moms. I did just hear in one of my resources that we are now going to have a bill in New Hampshire, and I need to sign this today, where we are going to keep track of abortions. New Hampshire is one state that does not keep track of abortions. And why would you not keep track of a death, right? We have death certificates for everything else. And this is going to give more voice to a child, that this child was actually killed by an abortion. So we do need that in place. So there'll be a lot of laws I talk about on here that we are going to talk about and look at and go through. There will be resources to help moms who are trying to get pregnant. I remember I couldn't get pregnant at first. There are going to be resources to help moms heal from abortions, and I've started an abortion class, um, and so on. So, podcasts, everything to help women have everything they can to grow and to come out of the abortion. So that's what I got for now, guys. And I will be taking my business stuff I learn and I will be pulling all this together as one hub to help millions of women in every single area. And one thing we need a lot of help with as women, too, that we don't have in this society is we've had abortion a lot of times breaks relationships. So we need places where women can come together. And I've always had Bible studies all the way up with my kids. Um, I had MOPS, I had mom to mom, I had teen classes, I had Bible studies, I had marriage classes, financial classes, not on top of all my jobs I've had, on top of homeschooling. But what we need is we need groups of women, and I will probably, I, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but there is an app I'm going to look at of getting online, setting out up like breakout rooms and have rooms for women to really connect with different experiences they've had with their moms and different tools and different things so that we can heal as women and come across stronger and raise the next generation of girls in very healthy ways, and guys too. I mean, I'm a boy mom. So yeah, so that's what I got for now, guys. And join me here, and I will be having a lot of resources here, more conversation here, where my business will be more practical help. And this will be, Instagram here. I may get on X, I may get on Twitter and just grow this business to talk about abortion more, from abortion to mother. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me.